Now we shall see the classification of conducting materials based on the band theory. If you see, initially you look at the diagram where this is a silicon crystal having 4 valence electrons, and when one electron from one silicon atom is shared with another electron of the another silicon atom, they form covalent bonds. So they form a strong covalent bond. This is the ordered structure at absolute 0. This is the ordered structure of the silicon crystal at absolute 0. Now, as the temperature increases, there will be enough energy, thermal energy, to break these bonds. Hence, there will be free electrons available in the lattice. So, these valence electrons which were lying in the same energy level, that is why we call that as a band. Their average energy is almost same. That is why we call them as bands, since they are having the valence electrons are usually loosely bound to the nucleus of the atom. So they are almost loosely bound, and when the temperature increases, they will gain that extra energy, and some of the electrons will gain the energy that is required to conduct. That is why semiconductors start conducting once the temperature starts to increase. Whereas in the case of conductors, always there will be valence electrons which is very loosely bound to the nucleus, and they have enough energy to conduct. That is why we say conduction band CB and valence band overlap. Whereas in semiconductors they will have a small energy gap, and in insulators you find usually the fully filled or half filled shells. That is why their energy gap will always be more than 3 electron volt, which is very difficult to get them conducting. You require to get these fully filled or half filled shells into valence band, then get them to conduction band, which requires whole lot of energy, and that is nothing but energy loss in terms of conduction and if you compare the supplied energy. That is why conductors can, or metals can conduct at any temperature, but even though there is ordered structure of semiconductors at very low temperature, the thermal energy, the temperature as it increases, the thermal energy is good enough to break these bonds, so that the valence band electrons can have enough energy to conduct. So that is the classification based on band theory. This is how you classify the best conductors or metals which carry electricity readily at any temperatures, semiconductors which carry the which carry electricity at room temperatures but not at low temperatures. That is why at low temperatures they act as insulators, and at room temperature and above they start conducting. That is why they are half conductors, half insulators, hence the name semiconductors. Insulators, they do not carry energy at all. It requires a very high energy to be supplied to get the electrons to the valence band.